Last time in Battle Angel Alita, our heroine got a look at a living legend, the king of Motorball, Jashugan, as he lay waste to all before him despite a brief hiccup. If she wants to continue playing and shoot for the top, that's what she'll have to contend with. Let's see Alita enter a new world of Motorball in Fight 15, Skull Sport. Alright, the chapter art this time is Alita mid-action in her Wetzug, Motorball body, with the Motorball in hand, suggesting she is ready for action. It's some nice perspective art, but I find it funny that she seems to be wearing sweatbands on her wrists. We jump right into Alita training with some dummies. Something I will remark upon for this chapter in case my summary seems short is that an unusual number of pages and panels are given over to the sequential displays of action sequences. This whole training sequence of Alita pulverizing the dummies takes up 3.5 wordless pages. Umba is very impressed. He's never seen anyone put out such destruction in a Motorball body, limited for regulation purposes. Notably, somehow one of the dummies has an elevated internal temperature relative to the surface temperature. That, according to Alita, is Panzerkunst. Pardon my German for this. The first dummy she took out with a Hackenwind, the second with a Havertrabant, and the third one she hit with a Herzahauen. That particular attack is going to be used a lot in this series, so pay attention. So a Herzahauen is where by vibrating her fist at 100 Hz, Alita transfers those vibrations in the form of an attack that travels past the armored exterior of her foes and damages their vulnerable inner workings, namely the brain in most cases. How does she know how to do this? Well, it seems that Alita has been experiencing moments on the Motorball track where she feels like all her lost memories are coming back to her at once, only to be lost again. She is able to retain some things, like these attacks. This prompts a moment of introspection as Alita wonders what is really her. This body is interchangeable, not really her, and her name isn't her true name. The only clue she has to her true self is her Panzerkunst, and the only way to remember more of her moves is to fight. Okay, I like this. We're digging a bit deeper into Alita's motivations for pursuing Motorball. It seems like losing Yugo has sent her down a journey of self-discovery. She isn't just cutting herself off from painful memories. Alita is stripping everything down so she can figure out who she is. Anyway, Umba is impressed and thinks she'll be able to take on Jashugan's Maschinenkratz with her Panzerkunst. Just then, Ed barges in. There's trouble. In the basement of the second league, Alita's team meets with Mr. Thompson, representative of their sponsor, Trench Bloom Scrap Pioneering. Yes, they have a sponsor now, and Alita is going to advance to Motorball's second league. Up until now, she's been dominating the third league. There is a small problem, however, which Ed describes as trivial, but he's worried Alita will throw a tantrum. As Thompson explains, each league has players wear a unique number from 0 to 99. Rookies for each league take on numbers from retired or deceased players from that league. Alita is quite insistent that she used the same number she had in the third league, 99, but that number is currently in use. They wonder why she's so fixated on that number, but it seems she's just stubborn. She likes 99 and she's not changing it. Pitching a fit over not getting the number you want is kind of bratty behavior, to be honest, but at least she stands up for herself. Apparently, the player using the number 99 also pitched a fit when they tried to negotiate with him, so maybe this stubborn attitude is just the norm for Motorball. Incidentally, the Motorball League has a custom for dealing with disagreements like this. If Alita wants to wear 99, Alita will have to face him in a one-on-one game with the number on the line. His name is Idukati, ranked 23rd in the second league rankings. He trash talks her, calling her a snot bubble bitch, while Ed tries to talk her down and Umba eggs her on. Alita just confirms that she gets to use her number if she beats this old man, and accepts. As this is officially a practice match, no weapons will be allowed. Instead of a ball, they will use a metal skull. Whoever hangs the skull on a hook on the second turn wins. They play best of 3. Each round should take only 20 seconds. As they line up for the start, Ed remarks that Alita may be in for more than she bargained for. Idacati's rank is deceptive. He would have more wins, but he's a scrapper that gets distracted by getting into fights on the track instead of keeping a hold of the ball and scoring points. In reality, he's probably one of the best fighters in the second league. The race begins with Alita taking possession of the skull. On the first turn, Idacati makes as if to attack Alita with a high kick, but misses and lands on his back. But wait, it's a ploy. He attacks Alita with his feet and successfully snaps off one of her legs. Alita crashes off the course, and Idacati catches the skull to score for the first round. Alita is not angry though. Now that's a little more like it. Umba berates Alita a bit since he only has the one spare leg for her. She apologizes for being sloppy. Meanwhile, Thompson questions Ed if they should just forfeit. Idacati might not be a good opponent for Alita. Among Motorball fans, he has some nicknames: the Crusher and the King Without a Crown. He's destroyed 145 opponents on the track. Ed more or less agrees that taking this sort of risk over a player number isn't a great idea, but once the competition has started, there's no stopping Alita. Moreover, he believes in her and that she'll win. Ed goes on to give some words of encouragement to Alita after that, though she correctly surmises that the sponsor will probably pull out if she gets her Wetzug destroyed in this, so she thanks him for his faith in her. Round 2. At the starting line, Idacati promises there won't be a round 3 because he's going to crush her into scrap so fine she'll never walk again. The round starts, and Idacati pulls ahead to take the skull. He tries something similar to last time, sliding on his arms while attacking Alita with his feet. This time, however, Alita is successfully able to block and dodge him to his astonishment. Finally, she catches his foot and jumps clear over Idacati, pulling him off his quote-unquote footing and throwing him to careen off the track. It isn't over yet though. He still has the skull, and he's angry. Idacati charges Alita head-on, flipping over to attack with his feet again, now attempting to knock her down so he can pound her face in. Instead, Alita sees it coming and flips over him. She lands directly on his arm, clutching the skull. He's still skidding along the ground here, so she's basically surfing on him. Alita puts a hand over Idacati's exposed face. She has him dead to rights and could easily have killed him here. Rather than destroy him, she grabs the skull, remarking that it's just a practice match, and speeds away to score. Alita wins the second round. Idacati is deeply shaken that his martial arts failed him, so much so that he gives up and forfeits his number to Alita on the spot. I guess there's no need for a round 3. His crew is incredulous, but Idacati recognizes that his style wouldn't work on her again. He is defeated. He does want to know where she learned those moves though, as they don't strike him as Earthian arts. Alita takes off her helmet and says that it is Mars Krieg, the battle style of Mars, Panzerkunst. And that is the note our chapter leaves us on. We got some nice insight into Alita's motivation. She's not just running from trauma, she's trying to uncover core truths about who she is. This is good development. We also learned a little bit more about Panzerkunst, and saw that Alita hasn't been entirely hardened by her experiences. I think when I first read this, it felt kind of pointless to me. In hindsight, I know this chapter is important in the future, but at the time it just contributed to my feeling like the story had slowed down a lot compared to the much quicker pacing of the earlier arcs. It felt sort of aimless, without a clear sense of where the overall story is heading. With the benefit of hindsight, I appreciate this chapter and the look at this new, changed Alita it provides. Next, we'll go further into Alita's Motorball adventures, but until then, I hope you have a nice day.